We've got the Metabo 36 volt mid-torque impact wrench. This is the Metabo model number WR36DE, and it's their half-inch mid-torque impact wrench, rated at somewhere around 750 foot-pounds for loosening torque. But before we divulge too much information on this, let's go ahead and take it over and take a closer look at the features, and then we'll take it over to the test bench and actually see what we get out of it. Now with this kit, you get the impact wrench, you get the two 2.5 amp hour 36 volt batteries, and the charger all in one kit. And we have a half-inch hog ring style or friction ring style anvil. A very cool looking anvil, much different than most of the anvils that you see on impact wrenches. Don't know if that's going to play out into anything, but just a totally different design than what you typically see in anvils. We also have a rubber nose cone here that looks like it's going to provide some protection. Our LED light is coming here from right below the center of the anvil and then shining up on the area of the fastener. And then we have a typical directional lever here for forward and reverse. We also get a variable speed trigger. Then we get a brushless motor, and we get an IP56 rating on this for dust and water intrusion. Very comfortable grip on here, so nice and ergonomic. Now power on this, or at least speed on this, is 0 to 2400 RPM, depending on what speed you have it in, but max is going to be 2400 RPM. And max on the impacts per minute or blows per minute is going to be 3,400. Now when it comes to power, they're saying 568 foot-pounds of tightening torque and 774 foot-pounds of nut busting or loosening torque with this tool. Let's go ahead and get a weight measurement on this. And height with that 2.5 amp hour battery, you're looking at 10 3/4 inches, just short of 11 inches. And from the back of the tool to the front of the tool, looking at right at 6 3/4 inches on that. So just short of 7 inches, just short of 11 tall, just short of 7 long. And then across the width of the tool, you're looking right at 3 inches on the width. Now let's go ahead and get a weight. And with that 2.5 amp hour battery, looking at 5 pounds, 13 ounces. So about a 1/4 pound shy of 6 pounds. So 5 3/4 pounds, about an ounce above that. So 5 pounds, 13 ounces. Now here on the base of the tool, we have 2 buttons here, which is a mode button and a power or speed button. So we have 4 different speeds or 4 different power modes. And then we have the mode button. And literally the mode button is just going to take it in and out of auto stop, which is going to allow the tool to automatically stop when it senses that a bolt is loosened, and automatically stop when it senses that the bolt is tightened, to keep from over tightening, say, a lug nut or countersinking something too far. It will stop on the tightened side, and then the loosening as well, keep from slinging a bolt or slinging a nut across the shop, across the floor, across the wherever you're working. So the speed modes 1 through 4, they are going to act like they would on like an impact driver. In other words, it's going to control reverse as well as forward. So I've got it in low, I've got it in speed 1, and so our max on that's going to be 1500 RPM in both forward and reverse. So it is going to limit the power output on the reverse side as well. Many times on impact wrenches, especially your mid torques and high torques, many times the reverse torque stays at 100%. Not the case on that. It's going to back that down as well. If you have it in speed 1, 2, or 3, it's going to be limited on both reverse and forward. So 1500 RPM in low, and then in speed 2, you're looking at 1800 RPM, speed 3, 2100, and speed 4, 2400. And we also get a variable speed trigger, so we can go, make it as slow as we want to, even in high speed. And then based on the input of the trigger is going to then determine how much power, how much speed that we're delivering to the anvil. Now we don't need this belt clip where we're going, so we'll go ahead and get rid of that guy. And let's take this over and give it a workout. All right, here's how this is going to work. We have our Metabo HPT WR36DE mid-torque impact wrench with a full 36 volt battery ready to go. We have our socket on. You see we have some different indexing marks on the socket just to help you be able to identify, help us to be able to identify when the socket starts turning. Now, we will torque each one of these fasteners, and you can see they get larger as we go down. We will start the first one at 150 foot-pounds, then we'll go to 200, 300, 400, then 500, 600, 700, and so forth, until we can actually find the fastening torque that the Metabo will not release or will not loosen. We will let the Metabo hammer or impact on that fastener for up to 10 seconds. If it is starting to move that fastener by the 10-second mark, we will let it go ahead and finish that. If it's not moving at that 10-second mark, then we'll call it, and that will be it, and it will get the previous score of the previous fastener, whatever that was torqued to. We're starting at 150 foot-pounds because that's our high torque fastening tool or torquing tool. The lowest it will go is 150 foot-pounds. We do have a smaller one, but we think it's not going to have any problem doing 150. So we're going to start at 150 and then go to 200 and jump in 100-pound increments after that. Now, this is a very precise bolting tool, and so torquing these is better off than a torque wrench. All right, so here we go. We've started at 150 foot-pounds, and as we mentioned, doing 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, and 700. This is where we stop at 700 foot-pounds. Supposedly, this should be able to break free up to right around 760. So let's see how it does. So definitely no problem at up to 400 foot-pounds. And by the way, I do have it in mode 4. Let's try something here. I'm going to go to the auto mode, and we're going to tighten up this fastener. Okay, it looks like it does not stop the tool in fasten mode because I kept my finger on the trigger. It kept hammering. Let's see if it stops it in loosen. Didn't look like it did it there either. Try that again. Okay, it looks like it keeps hammering away even in auto mode, and let's go back to reverse in auto mode. No, it doesn't look like it's stopping or slowing down there either, so not sure why that's not engaging, but it's definitely not slowing or stopping the tool. Now let's move on. Go to our larger socket, go to these larger fasteners, and we'll start at 500 foot-pounds. Make sure we're in reverse, and here we go. That took a while to break that free, but it was moving at the 10-second mark, and that's why we let it go ahead and finish breaking that free. Still have a full battery. Still in reverse. I'm going to take it out of auto mode. So here we go at 600 foot-pounds. have to be honest, it was not moving in 10 seconds. I went ahead and let it hit for another few seconds, and it looks like at about the 12-second mark that it started moving that. So I don't think we're going to give it that 600 foot-pounds, but let's move on to 700 and see how long it takes to break that free. Okay, we're going to move you in a little closer so you can clearly see that indexing mark there, and let's use it on the 700 foot-pounds and see how we do. And it's barely moving it, but can't seem to just break it free. I don't think we're going to continue on. I mean, we were hammering there for probably 25, 30 seconds there, and it moved it, I don't know, maybe an eighth of a turn, and it was arguable in the first 10 seconds of whether it was budging it or not. So definitely having trouble at above that 500 foot-pounds. At 500 it did okay, and then at 600 and 700 definitely struggling to break anything free. So I think we're going to stop it right there. So apparently this acts a little bit different than typical. What this does is, depending on the speed you have it on, say like speed 1 in the auto mode, it's basically set for a preset amount of time. It's going to hammer for half a second and then stop. And then in mode 2, it's going to be 1 second. And then in mode 3, a second and a half, and mode 4, 2 seconds. So it's actually going to hammer for that set amount of time and then stop hammering or stop impacting. So the auto mode didn't quite work like we thought it was going to work. It's more of a timed preset built into the tool. So again, as we just said, mode 1 is going to be a half second, mode 2, 1 second, mode 3, a second and a half, and mode 4, 2 seconds of impacting before it actually stops the tool, which we validated that it did do that. So a little different than we've seen in other tools, but still it works somewhat about the same. So you just have to watch. If you're not wanting to tighten it too much, then make sure you have it in one of the lower modes. Now, we also didn't quite hit the numbers that they claimed in the breakaway or in the loosening torque. We still were able to peak past, 500 foot-pounds. So is it still going to be a great mid-torque model for you if you're already on the Metabo platform? Sure, absolutely. Shouldn't have any problem with most lug nuts on light duty and passenger cars, light duty trucks should not be an issue. Now, if you're working on, big rigs, things like that, then we definitely recommend a high torque unit for that. But for under the hood, around the wheels and things like that on the lighter duty cars and trucks, you should be absolutely fine. Pricing on this is $399 for the kit with the 2 batteries and the charger and the case. Now, if you get the tool bare, then that's going to run you about $259. Warranty on this, they claim a lifetime warranty on the tool body. So the body of the tool is covered for a lifetime as long as it's still serviceable, and the battery is covered for 2 years. So we'll have a link in the description to this. Also, keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok. And if you don't mind, would you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already? And by all means, did you hate our video? Well, then let us know in the comments why. Have a great day. Keep smiling.